نوينا قراءة الفاتحة تقربا إلى الله تعالى وتوفيقا لمن أراد من عباده يعني على وفق مراده بقراءة هذه الرسالة المسمى بأيها الولد أو الرسالة الولدية على هذه النية وعلى كل حال شأن لله لهم الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من This is the book which is available, and you could buy the book from Amazon. The book that I recommend if you want to read the so-called work called the Ayyuhal Walad. I notice you have another translation, which is a fine translation, but there are many mistakes in that translation, I'm sorry to say, not least the title, My Dear Beloved Son. And even if that will be the only faedah you get from this lesson tonight, so be it. The way our ulama teach is that we teach it properly, comprehensively, to make sure that you really understand and you get it fully, so that you benefit from our majlis, rather than try to rush things and try and finish everything as the way of the modern people used to. You see, so our way is that you take it at one at a time, and you do it according to its own physics, according to its own universe, according to its own laws. And in this case, I will comment on the title of this book. This is a book published in Cambridge by the Islamic Text Society, whose editor is a friend of mine, Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad, who has, mashallah, produced many very good quality. And this is the thing, sometimes with our religious books, particularly back home, and something that you can learn when you come to this country, and you can go back and teach, not teach, that sounds patronizing, but share the experience you have in this country with the people back home. Namely, especially with religious books, our religious books, and Dr. Zul here will of course be able to help back home, I'm sure. He's in the marketing business. They sometimes don't market the book in a nicely way, professionally published, for example. And this is a good example of an academic work which even your professors at your medical colleges will be proud of, for example. A work that has proper documentation, proper footnoting, written in flawless English, and in the case of course, in our books in Malaysia, it has to be written in flawless Malay, and so on and so forth. It has to be proofread, and so on and so forth. So this is a very well polished, published book, something I recommend you buy. I don't know how much it is, maybe £10, £15 at most, but it is useful to have, in particular because if you're going to learn with the ulama who have ijazah, usually they will read it with the Arabic, of course, and you would want to then make notes, and you could use it with the intention as well. When you read a book like this, with the Arabic on the right side, the English on the left, or the Malay on the left, the Arabic on the right, for example. If you don't know Arabic, at least you attend pengajian lessons like this, so that you learn a bit of Arabic. As you know, Arabic is not fardu ain. You will not get any sin if you don't study Arabic. If you die not knowing Arabic, you won't be punished. Although the Shafi'i school, the great Imam, Mujtahid Imam himself, came up with a fatwa that it should be fardu ain. But the madhab, the thousands of ulama who follow the Shafi'i school, overruled the Imam himself and says that no, that will make it too difficult for the people. This is proof that when we say we follow the madhab Shafi'iyya, we're not following one man. Of course not. It is a collegiate, it is a college of ulama, of thousands of specialists joined together to refine the school for more than 1,000 years, including the names of the like of people like al-Nawawi, al-Ghazali, al-Suyuti, Fakhruddin al-Razi, al-Juwayni, al-Haramain, hakaza ila akhirih. And so Imam al-Ghazali, Imam Shafi'i, the Mujtahid Imam, gave the fatwa to say that Arabic is fard, but then the school, the madhab, overruled him and said that actually the ruling is only fardu kifaya. It's not fardu ain. If you die not knowing Arabic, you won't be punished. But because it is fardu kifaya, like your salatul janazah, because like fardu kifaya, like studying medicine, Imam Ghazali famously was the one who first made this point. Among all of the fuqaha of the Muslims, He was the first faqih. First. Not anyone before him. The first to make this so-called bid'ah, if you like. I mean, to come up with the fatwa that to study mathematics, or to study medicine, or to study astronomy, namely the so-called secular sciences, the so-called worldly sciences, sciences which apparently does not have any links or relation to religion, you would think. You know. But Imam al-Ghazali made the point. When he saw in his own town, Tus, in Khurasan, in Iran, and in those days Iran was Sunni, that the doctors were Jews and Christians, no Muslims. And then he said, we have too many fuqaha, too many lawyers, too many ustaz, but no doctors. And he came out with a fatwa which was very famous, and he said that if in a court of Muslim law you cannot take the testimony of the non-Muslim, how is it that this is a double standard then? Are you being hypocritical that you allow yourself to go to a doctor who is a non-Muslim and you trust the testimony of that doctor? Something is wrong with this picture, folks. Imam al-Ghazali was telling his constituency, the ulama, in his tradition, something is wrong with this picture. Hey guys, wake up. You're so busy among the fuqaha saying that cannot take the testimony of non-Muslim in a Muslim court, but then we have no problems, no qualms going to see non-Muslim doctors. MashaAllah. Then al-Ghazali was the first one to make that ruling in the Sharia. An explicit ruling in the Sharia, of course using qiyas. There is no hadith on this, no Quran. And this is why the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah do not follow the Quran and hadith. I mean, only. Sometimes in our khutbah I will say that, just to remind us so that we are aware of that. We, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, follow the Quran, the Ahadith, the Sunnah, and the Ijma' of the ulama and the ummah, the consensus of the community. That is our church. We don't have a church, but the church is metaphysical. As encapsulated in the qaida of the Latins, when they say vox populi, vox Dei, dalam bahasa Latin. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Vox populi, vox Dei. La tajtami'u ala ummati fi dhalala. This is a hadith sahih, my ummah will never agree on an error. So just because the Latin Christians have another way to express it, fine, that's their way of expressing it. Vox populi, vox Dei. The way we express it is, my ummah will never agree on an error. MashaAllah. So the third source of our law and our aqidah and our tasawwuf and our way of life, our Islam, is ijma', the consensus. And the fourth, aqal, qiyas, analogical or legal reasoning. MashaAllah. So that is the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We do not limit our sources to only the Quran and Sunnah. Because if you limit it only to the Quran and Sunnah, you become very literally minded. You become very ritualistic to the point where you will lose your spirit and your soul. Remember that. So Imam al-Ghazali was the one who came up with the fatwa, plural here, of subjects in astronomy, mathematics, medicine. It should be fardu kifayah, and he argued for that. And the proof of his success was that by the time of Imam Nawawi, about 100 plus years later, the mu'tamad opinion in the school, the followed opinion in the school, became that to study medicine is fardu kifayah. MashaAllah. It became a religious ruling to study medicine. Because why? There is maslahah and the community benefits from this. And from the Shafi'i school it spread that ruling to the Ahnaf, the Hanafis, the Malikis and the Hanbalis. And today everybody agrees. A subject like medicine is fardu kifayah. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. It is people like you who are in the service of mankind, who take care of our health, that you get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that only Allah will be able to reward you in the next world. Something that you should be at least, I don't want to use the word proud here, but confident in that mission that you have. That when you graduate and you take your medical degree, you would have to make that promise, that Hippocratic oath that you are there to serve mankind. This is